Let me ask you a question that maybe no one has ever asked you before. Do you love Jesus? Most people answer yes without thinking. But if I ask you why, the answer is almost always the same. Because he died for me, because I'm afraid of hell, because that's how I was raised, because it's the right thing to do. And that's where the problem lies, because none of those answers is love. Their obligation, their fear, their habit, and God doesn't want any of those things. He wants something that most Christians have never truly experienced. Today I need to show you something that will completely change the way you see Jesus. And when you understand this, Isantes, loving him will no longer be an effort. It will be inevitable. There is a religion that most people practice without realizing it. It has no official name, but it has a very clear principle. If I behave well enough, God will love me. If I pray enough, He will bless me. If I sin, He will punish me. It's a relationship between an employee and a boss, between a defendant and a judge. And in this relationship, the love that arises isn't true love. It's a performance. It's fear disguised as devotion. Think about it with me. If you knew with absolute certainty that there is no punishment, would you still follow him? Would you still pray? Would you still care? If the answer is no, you never loved God, you loved the consequences of not loving him. That's not faith, it's risk management. And the problem isn't that you're a bad person. The problem is that no one has shown you what Jesus really did. Because when someone truly understands, the equation changes completely. To understand what Jesus did, I need you to come with me to a place. It is night. The air is cold. There is a garden outside Jerusalem. And there, alone among the olive trees, is a man kneeling on the ground. He isn't praying the way you and I pray. He is struggling. The Bible says his sweat became like drops of blood falling to the ground. Think about that. It is not the fear of physical pain that is tearing him apart inside. Roman soldiers died singing on the battlefields. What is crushing Jesus in that garden is something much heavier. It is the weight of your specific sins, your darkest secrets, the versions of yourself that you hide from everyone. All of that was already upon him that night. And yet he stayed. When the soldiers came to arrest him, he could have vanished with a word. He could have called upon legions of angels, but he stood still with his hands open, because what held him there were not iron chains. It was love for you. In court, he remained silent. He who created the universe with a single word remained silent while corrupt men decided his fate. They blindfolded him. They struck his face, that face before which angels cover their eyes with their wings so as not to be blinded by the glory, was covered with the spit of wicked men. Why? Because if he had not endured that humiliation, you would have had to bear eternal shame. And so we arrive at Golgotha, the place of the skull. The soldiers nailed his hands to the wood, those hands that touched lepers and healed them, those hands that blessed children, now fixed with iron. But it wasn't the soldiers who held him on the cross. It was love for you. If he had wanted to come down, the soldiers would have scattered like paper. What kept him nailed there was the unshakable decision not to abandon you. Then darkness came. It was not a natural storm. It was the most terrible moment in the history of the universe. The Father turned his face away from the Son, and Jesus cried out with all his might, my God, why have you forsaken me?" In that cry lies the price of your redemption. Jesus was forsaken so that you would never have to be. He experienced the total absence of God so that you might inherit his eternal presence. And when he finally said, "It is finished," your debt was canceled. Not paid in installments, not reduced, completely canceled. The receipt for your freedom was signed with the blood of God. Now stop for a second and tell me honestly, can you hear all this and remain the same? Most people who struggle with sin are fighting the wrong way. They try to stop through willpower. They make rules. They make promises. They fail. They try again. It's exhaustion disguised as spirituality. But when you understand what Jesus did, something changes at the root. You don't stop sinning out of fear of punishment. You stop because you can't bring yourself to hurt the one who gave everything for you. It's the difference between a child who obeys his father out of fear of being beaten and a child who obeys because he loves too much to disappoint. Understanding what Jesus did also changes the way you view suffering. When life hurts, and it will hurt, you will no longer wonder if God has abandoned you, because you will know that He knows pain better than any human being. He went through it voluntarily, for you, and it changes the way you see other people. How can you hold a grudge against someone if the same Jesus who died for you died for that person too? Forgiveness ceases to be a heroic effort and becomes the natural response of one who has understood how much they have been forgiven. Perhaps you are listening to this and feeling that your faith has always been more of the head than the heart, that you know the doctrine but feel almost nothing, that the cross has become a pretty symbol with no real weight. That's not a lack of faith, it's a lack of contemplation. No one loves what they don't stop to truly consider. So today, before you go to sleep, don't do anything special. Don't say a long prayer. Don't open a theology book. Just sit in silence and think about one thing. He knew it would be me. When he was in the garden, sweating blood, he knew you would be here today, listening to this. He saw your face, and even so, he stayed. Even so, he chose the cross for you. When this truth truly settles in your heart, you won't have to force yourself to love Jesus. It will be impossible not to love him, because love isn't a decision you force. It is the inevitable response of a soul that has finally understood what was done for it, not for some anonymous crowd. For it. Look at him, understand what he did, and live. Look at him and love. Because in the end, the only thing that will matter isn't how hard you worked. It's how much you loved the one who gave everything so that you wouldn't lose anything.